The internet loves a conspiracy theory, and the current rumors about these women are entirely wrong, totally lazy, and honestly, a little embarrassing. You have seen those videos with titles screaming about famous stars being secretly born male. They offer wild claims and zero proof, relying purely on shock value, dressed up as a revelation. The real stories of the women on this list today hit much harder than any manufactured rumor ever could. These are 10 working actresses who were assigned male at birth, and not one of them is hiding it. They never hid, but instead stood up, spoke out, walked red carpets, collected awards, and changed what film and television can look like. There are no secrets here, just extraordinary talent. Starting with number 10, Indya Moore. Growing up in New York City, Indya faced real and grinding hardship, including years spent in foster care as a teenager. Acting was never handed to them, and neither was anything else. They fought for every opportunity and eventually landed a starring role in the critically celebrated FX series Pose, a show built around the ballroom culture of 1980s New York and featuring the largest cast of trans actors in broadcast history. That achievement alone stands as a lasting mark on television. In 2019, Time magazine named Indya Moore one of the 100 most influential people on the planet. They were not just the most influential young actor or LGBTQ voice, but one of the 100 most influential humans alive. Moving from foster care to that list is a story worth knowing. At number 9, Patti Harrison. She built her name in comedy, and comedy is a tough environment where you either get the laugh or you fail. There is no dramatic score to rescue you and no slow-motion moment to lean on. Patti gets the laugh consistently, and she makes the entire process look effortless. She voiced a character in Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon in 2021, meaning her voice reached children across the globe. She also carried the film Together Together as a lead actress, holding the whole story together with a quiet and precise performance. Most people watching her do not spend a single second thinking about her identity because her craft does all the talking. Her talent stands on its own merits. Number 8, Lysette. The road to the screen was not smooth for her, but she showed up to the set of Hustlers in 2019 and shared real screen time with Jennifer Lopez in one of the most discussed films of that year. That was not a background appearance, but rather a role in a genuine cultural moment, and she held her own brilliantly. Later, her performance in the film Monica earned something that money cannot buy, receiving an 11-minute standing ovation at a major international film festival. The audience refused to stop clapping for 11 full minutes. Earning that kind of response from a room full of seasoned film critics and industry professionals is exactly what Lysette achieved. Number 7, Nicole Maines. She made history in a way nobody had managed before her in the medium's history. She played the character Dreamer on the CW series Supergirl, which sounds exciting enough on its own, but the context adds even more weight. She became the first transgender superhero ever portrayed in a live-action broadcast series in the entire history of television. She portrayed a trans woman in a cape, saving people and being the hero every week on a major network. For every kid who switched on that show and saw someone like themselves standing in the hero's position, that moment landed in a way that no statistic can fully capture. Number 6, Josie Totah. She gained early prominence acting as a child on the Disney Channel, the bright and polished world where everything looks easy and clean. Behind the scenes, things were not easy. In August 2018, at just 17 years old, she publicly told the world she was a girl through a personal essay published in Time magazine. At 17, when most people are figuring out what to eat for lunch, she was writing honestly about her identity for a global audience with no guarantee of how the industry would respond. The industry responded by casting her as the lead in the Saved by the Bell reboot on Peacock. Josie Totah represents youth, honesty, and zero apologies. At number 5, Jamie Clayton. She built a career spanning the kinds of genres most actors only dream of touching across a lifetime. She starred in Netflix's Sense8, the ambitious sci-fi drama from the Wachowskis, a show built around empathy and connection that developed a devoted global following. Then, in 2022, she took on one of horror's most iconic characters by playing Pinhead in the Hellraiser reboot. Taking on the nightmare that has been terrifying audiences since 1987, she played the role, made it her own, and brought something genuinely menacing to a character people assumed was untouchable. As a transgender actress leading a major horror franchise, Jamie Clayton does not accept the limitations placed in front of her. Number 4. Hari Nef. Born in 1992, she models, acts, and has a talent for showing up exactly where culture is building momentum. In 2023, she appeared in one of the highest-grossing films on the planet, Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig. That film pulled in $1.44 billion at the global box office and generated a cultural conversation that lasted for months. Hari Nef played one of the Barbies, and her face appeared on the posters, on the merchandise, and in the trailers that large audiences watched that summer. 10 years ago, few people predicted that level of mainstream visibility, but it is becoming a given today, and she is part of the reason why. At number 3, Michaela Jaé Rodriguez, known as MJ. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, she put everything into performance. Her portrayal of Blanca on Pose stands as one of the finest acting achievements in recent broadcast history, without any debate. Then, in January 2022 at the Golden Globes, her name was announced as the winner for Best Actress in a Drama TV Series. She became the first trans actress in Golden Globes history to win in an acting category. The room went quiet for a breath, and then it erupted in applause, securing a permanent record that nobody can rewrite. Number 2. Hunter Schafer. Born in 1998 in Trenton, New Jersey and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina, she modeled before landing the role of Jules on HBO's Euphoria. Viewers of Euphoria know exactly what that show demands, requiring raw, unflinching, and emotionally exhausting drama that gives the cast nowhere to hide. Hunter Schafer did not hide, as she matched every scene she was given and delivered some of the show's most quietly devastating moments. Then, she stepped into one of the most successful active film franchises in existence, appearing in The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in 2023. Moving from runway model to HBO drama to blockbuster franchise is an arc that is no accident, showing someone who knows precisely who she is and what she came to do. And number 1 is Laverne Cox. Born in 1972 in Mobile, Alabama, she did not simply walk into Hollywood, but rather forced the industry to make room. Her role as Sophia Bursette in Netflix's Orange is the New Black became one of the defining performances of its decade, portraying a character written with depth, dignity, and humanity at a time when that was rare. In 2014, she made history when she received a Primetime Emmy Award nomination in an acting category, becoming the first openly trans person to receive that recognition on the biggest stage at the Emmys. Her name on that ballot changed what people believed was imaginable, and that shift rippled outward into casting rooms, writers' rooms, and boardrooms across the industry. Laverne Cox did not just open a door, she took out the entire wall. These 10 women did not sneak into Hollywood, and they did not disguise themselves to get a seat at the table. They showed up as themselves, pushed through real resistance, and wrote their names into history in permanent ink. Some of them spent years being turned away before getting their chance, while others created roles that had not existed because no writer had bothered to imagine them. Now their names are attached to Emmy nominations, Golden Globes, highly successful films, and the cover of Time magazine. The next time you see a clickbait video claiming an actress is secretly something else, Consider who actually benefits from framing her story as a secret. These women have never been hiding, and they have been right in front of you the whole time, doing some of the most serious, committed, and history-making work in Hollywood. The work was always visible, and your attention just had to catch up.